Throughout human history, the world has been a dark and dangerous place. The great empires that have existed act less as shining beacons of civilization and more as dimly lit candles on a stormy night, only to be stuffed out by a wayward breeze. Today, we will be that breeze, the barbarians knocking down the walls of some of the greatest civilizations of all time. My goal for this video is to prove to all you Crusader Kings 3 enjoyers out there that the best form of government in the game is actually tribal. And I will be proving this to you by destroying the most developed realm in CK3 after playing for just 50 years as a lowly tribal ruler. And for our tribal start, I think I have the absolute perfect realm to play as, and it is none other than the Mayar Confederation. So this start is super interesting. You'll notice a few things right at the start of the game, and that is that we already have two stacks here of pretty strong units, especially because they have these crazy strong horse archers, which we are going to be using a lot this game, and I'm so excited. I've talked about these units before, and I honestly think they could be some of the best in the game. Another thing you'll notice is we are in a war with Bulgaria, which is actually for this whole kingdom here. So I can tell you right now, if we were to win this war, we would give up our land that we have over here and become a king with a good foothold in Europe here, which is going to be really fun because as a tribal region, we want to be just invading a bunch of feudal kingdoms and feudal realms. A true tribal warlord just running around raiding and pillaging all the feudal realms near them. However, this start, although it is really interesting and fun, it's a bit too easy. If we look at this war, you can see the defenders, the Bulgarians, have 3,200 men. And even if they set up an alliance with like a similar realm, we still are just way too strong. We have, like I said, we have 2,000 horse archers from this special unit and an absolute shit ton of prestige. And the reason having prestige just makes this start even more powerful is because as a tribal region, you can actually buy men-at-arms units with prestige. So we could pick up a ton of units with all this prestige. Like we could get more horse archers, more onagers, and we already have 5,000 men raised and ready to go. I don't think it would be very fun if we just played like this. So what I'm actually going to do is something a little bit cheeky. What we're going to be doing is actually going into the properties and typing in a line of code which actually opens the debug menu when you go into the game, and I'll show you exactly what that looks like. For the record, this is the only time I have ever used the debug menu in a video, and the only reason we are going to be using it is to actually make this game a little bit harder. So let's say if our character were to die, you can see these special soldiers, which are unique to this realm if you play as them. It says right here they will stand down on succession, meaning these guys disappear if our character dies. So let's say if I go right here, right click on him, and have someone slay them. We've been slayed, and now we're going to be playing as our son, who loses all of that 1.9 thousand prestige, as well as all the special units. As you can see, they're completely gone to 0, which brings our military strength down to just under 2,000, which is going to put us as the underdog in this war. But considering we still have access to these crazy units, and because tribal is just so powerful as it on its own, I think we will be fine here. All right, so now we have a start that is more akin to something I would put on my channel. I had already talked about this, but playing as tribal is so fun because instead of having to spend gold for your military, you spend prestige. And not only that, but you can see that if I were to raise my military here, you can see that we do have to pay gold to have this army raised. However, we get a 50% decrease on the maintenance we have to pay. So that's going to help keep our gold income high. And although gold isn't important because we don't need it to buy men-at-arms units, but if I want to build buildings, which are going to be super important later in this game, you can see it does cost a little bit of gold. So we don't want to run out of gold. And we can also use gold in order to have hunts and feasts, which will also provide us with more prestige, which we can use to get more units. Other things, this family, this character we're playing as comes from a pretty famous family because we already have a dynastic legacy available to us. And I think the only option for us here is just to go down warfare. We're going to pick up +2 prowess on all our house members, as well as +15% knight effectiveness, which is really important. Speaking of our knights, you can see we don't have full knights right now. So let's have a look at our quarters to see if we have some people who are unmarried, like our mother here, which we can sort in terms of prowess and try to marry them off to get some better knights.
Hi, how are you? Hi, how are you?
Other things, we have to choose a lifestyle, and I'm going to go down martial with an authority focus. And we'll talk about that a little bit later, but also martial is going to help us in terms of picking up some of these really good military perks. One we already have is this perk, which raises our knight effectiveness by another 75, meaning our knights are currently getting almost 200% bonus to their damage, and knights are just super powerful in battles. So having strong knights is really going to help in this war, especially considering we have a disadvantage in troop number. So if we were to run this army as ourselves, you can see that would give us a commander ability of 24, which is honestly really high. Oh, okay, so up here you can see we have the Bulgarians coming in. The good thing about them attacking us here, which is going to be it's going to be fun to show off some gameplay elements, is that these are completely open plains. We do have steppe lands down to the south of our land, but up here we have open plains, and plains are amazing for our horse archers. If we hover over the horse archers, you can actually see in steppe lands they get plus 45 damage, which is completely mental to me. That brings them to over 90 damage, which is for a unit in 867. Just blows my mind. But in plains we get plus 20 damage as well as dry land, so this will be very favorable terrain for us to fight in. You can see they do lose damage and pursuit of 30 in wetlands, mountains, and desert mountains, so we'll have to be wary of that and try to keep our army out of the mountains and wetlands. However, if you think about it, even with a minus 30 in terms of both these stats, they're still a pretty strong unit. That would bring them to like 17 and 21 in terms of damage and toughness. If we compare that to a pikeman, let's say, which is like a pretty beefy unit, you can see they have 23 damage and 25 toughness. Not much better, but these horse archers still come with a bunch of pursuit and screen, even in the tiles where they're not that strong. So because of that, we're going to see what happens when we enter into a battle with them in our capital, which is a nice little tribal hold. NANI? So right away, just with the first army in here, you can see we have a huge advantage. And one of the major things that plays into this is this unreformed pagan combat advantage. And that comes because we're playing not only as a tribal ruler, but as a tribal ruler with a unreformed religion. If you have this combo, that means you're always going to have this beautiful, beautiful unreformed pagan combat advantage, which gives you a plus 10 in the advantage modifier in all of your battles with either clan or feudal rulers. We have plus 44% damage, plus 44% to our damage right now, and these armies are of course going to come in. So we'll see what happens in this battle. Hopefully we get a lot of kills on these guys before the other army comes in, and we actually do. You can see we get a whole stack wipe just because of the damage we did, but also because these horse archers have such a high value of pursuit. So we won that battle, and now since these two armies are coming in across this small river crossing, we'll actually get a further defensive bonus to the battle, which you should be able to see right here. We get another plus 10%, another plus 10 to the advantage modifier from defending a river crossing, which is again just going to add to our favor here. This time you can see they actually have a really strong commander. I guess it is the king of Bulgaria. He has 33 commander ability, but we have 24, so it doesn't make too much of a difference. And even with this other army coming in, you can see we're going to win this battle as well.
I'm dying. Help me.
Absolutely perfect. And this time we did not get stack wipes on them, but we still got a lot of kills, which brings their military down to 1,800, which is much more comparable to us. So now we can just run over to their land and start invading. So here we can actually engage them in another battle on this plains terrain, and I think I'm going to do it. If I were to fight them on wetlands, I think we would get absolutely destroyed because of what I talked about with the terrains already. But in plains, again, we have a damage bonus to our horse archers. You can see even though we might have a minus advantage modifier, mainly just because he is such a better commander than us, you can see our horse archers have a total damage of 70 right now. And we should get a pretty healthy victory here as well. One thing you should always be wary at when you're in wars and you're having lots of battles is you will lose champions as this progresses. You can see we had 7 champions, but we only have 6 in this army now because I guess one died or was injured. So what you can always do is just put a rally point nearby and then raise another knight. So now we can just merge that knight in here and we still keep 7 of 7 knights, which is very good. Okay, so I took some more land down here and you can see the Bulgarian army is back in our land. But if we go and attack them, especially on these plains tiles again, you should see just a massive victory for us. So these guys really aren't learning. They keep attacking me on plains tiles, which is just which is just really not helping them. You can see we actually got their war banner, which is pretty cool. I think we can hang that up next to ours now, and it gives us plus 2% more knight effectiveness. So that's pretty decent. And there we go, guys. 100%. We got into a battle here in the capital. So now, if we go ahead and enforce our demands, you should see we lost our titles over here. They go to just some random character, but we have gained some very beautiful land right here in Hungary. It looks like we're actually in a war with somebody. Okay. And holy crap, you can see we have a lot of units now. It's pretty much because we're holding all these domains without getting any penalties, but we will not be able to hold these forever. The good thing about this is we have, we actually get all the titles here. So we have all these duchies and we can start granting these away. So for the people I'm going to grant some of these titles away to, I think I've decided to hold these central 2 duchies personally, or at least as much land as possible from them. The white is plains terrain, so I kind of want my capital to be on plains land, mainly just because it'll be very good to defend against. Already in that battle with the Bulgarians, you could have seen that like our horse archers absolutely destroy people in plains land. So like, let's say if somebody's trying to take my capital, all I have to do is just raise an army of horse archers, run in there, and they will completely stop anybody from taking it. So for that reason, I'm going to try to keep these 2 duchies and I'll grant away the rest. And there you go. So I just brought my holdings, my domains down to 8 of 6. And you can already see we lost a few people from this Dissolution faction. And these guys are going to start liking me a lot more. And there you go, as easy as that, we have won the war. We can now enforce our demands, disband our armies. And now that we're not in war, I'm actually going to go ahead and move my capital over here to this county where we actually have a trading outpost, which is going to be really good for our gold income. This is kind of a cool place to live. You can see we have like 4 plains baronies next to a mountain. So it will be good for defending. I'll get my marshal on increasing the control in this territory, and we do also have Serve the Crown and Authority Focus, which I picked up in the beginning of the game because I knew we would be getting a bunch of land that would have low control. You can see all our control in these areas is just like super low. So the faster we can get this up, you should just see our gold income, our total soldiers, and everything else start skyrocketing. I'm going to grant my old capital away to this guy, and then I'll also grant him the duchy that was here. And just like that, we are now sitting only 1 domain above our domain limit, which gives us a 20% penalty, which honestly is not bad at all. I need to go down learning lifestyle eventually because I want to increase our research speed. Oh no, we're not even researching the right thing. So we should have been researching barracks. I did waste, I guess 7 years on that. But we want to get barracks because this will let us upgrade our military buildings, and that's going to be really important. But you can see it takes a long time because not only do we have low learning, but we also have low development in our counties. So yeah, so I would want to go down a scholarship focus in order to increase our research speed to get barracks a little bit faster. But if I were to go down a domain focus, it would bump our stewardship up to 20, and then I would have no penalties for holding all the land we're holding right now. Or the other option is to go down a majesty focus to get the 1 prestige per month, which honestly is pretty important. We're already making 3.2, which is, you know, which is pretty high, but bumping that up by 1 honestly would help because we do need a lot of prestige to build buildings and to get more men-at-arms units, which we don't have that many right now. I'd love to have more horse archers. Or I could also stay in the authority focus just a bit longer because I will lose this 0.3 control per month if I leave. So I think what I'm going to do is stay in authority focus just for a bit to get all these counties that I own their control going up really fast. You can see we're making 0.7 in all these other counties where I don't have my my marshal on increased control. And for the meantime, what we're going to focus on doing is building these absolutely beautiful market buildings in every single county I hold. You can see they're going to cost us, let's find a county which is normal. They're going to cost us 75 gold, 200 prestige, but that is honestly a really good price if you consider each one is going to give us 0.4 tax per month. And then the other building we want to get after that is war camps in all our counties, because these are just amazing buildings that increase our knight effectiveness by 10%, which is awesome. Gives us more knights and then increases all of our damage and toughness, including our archer cavalry damage and toughness, which is huge. So we want to get these two buildings, the markets and the war camps, in every single one of our counties. That is our immediate next steps. One actually other core position which would be really valuable for us is this one right here, because you can see they increase our control growth per month, and that's something we really need. So if I appoint this guy, he does also cost a little bit of gold, but he will increase everything by 0.2, bringing these almost up to 1 control in all these other counties. Okay, so I just got enough martial experience to pick up this perk, which increases our control, increased control in county martial ability by 20%. I think that's a fair point to switch off of martial, and I actually will go down domain just to be able to get our domain limit up to 7 of 7, so we can hold all these things without penalty. It'll help our gold income a lot, which is going to be useful. And then what I'm going to do is just pick up golden obligations and maybe cutting cornerstones. And as soon as I can switch out of this, I will switch over to diplomacy to pick up majesty or learning, depending on how I'm feeling. Looks like here we have some peasants trying to rise up against us. That's kind of laughable. At least that means we can we get a nice peasant here into our military who actually is pretty strong. So, you know, we will take that. So for my first stewardship perk, I'm going to pick up golden obligations, because what that means is I can go over to my council, find my spy master and set him on to find secrets in other courts. And we're going to put him just in a bunch of different kingdoms. He'll go on a whole tour, try to find us some secrets, which we can then use the golden obligations perk to blackmail people to get more gold. And also, if we wanted to create more duchies or usurp duchies, we have to pay gold to do that. So normally whenever I had this pop up before, it would always be you have to pay gold to get like the worst armor or the worst artifact I've ever seen. But look at this one's actually pretty good. Plus 4 prowess, plus 0.2 prestige per month, and plus 6% knight effectiveness for only 75 gold. I think this is honestly good value. So we will buy this armor, and it will be helpful for increasing our prestige, which again is king in this game for getting more men, more buildings, and all that good stuff. All right, so we just got a challenge from the King of Bulgaria, who we beat in that war. He wants to get his artifact back. If we decline it, we would lose a bunch of prestige. That sucks. I think I will fight him for it. If we look at my character, we have 22 prowess, which, come on, pretty good. We're pretty strong. And he only has 12. So I think honestly we should be able to take him. And there you go. So we won the single combat. I don't think we get anything from that, honestly, in terms of prestige, but at least we don't lose our banner. Here it looks like I discovered my first secret in another person's court. So you can see we can blackmail this person. Oh, the only problem is we're actually just, so we will get some stress from doing that. So maybe I'll wait until we can go on a hunt, and it looks like we can. So I'll go on a hunt first, and then I'll blackmail this person. It goes through, and then I can go over here and demand 50 gold from that character. So taking a look at my land, you can see we have hit pretty high control in almost all these counties. And we do also have markets in a lot of these counties, as you can see, built or being built, and that already brought our gold income up to 5.5 per month, which is really high considering how early we are in this game. So I think it's about time we start building these war camps as well in these counties. Remember, I want to have a markets and a war camps in every single county I hold, just because it'll give me so many levies, so much knight effectiveness, so many knights, while also giving me a ton of money from having all these trading ports. Here you can see I would be able to create this duchy if I had one more piece of land. So I'm going to declare war on this guy to conquer this county. Or at least I will when we have enough prestige to do that. Oh, and it looks like this vassal actually ended up taking the duchy for themselves anyway. So whenever we have enough gold, we can then create this, grant it to them, and that'll just gain us a very nice amount of prestige. Well, we can blackmail this character here. for being a cannibal, and we can demand some payment from them, and that'll bump us up to over 250 gold, which is exactly how much we need to be able to usurp this duchy. You can see that gains us 300 prestige, which is very important. And then we can just go ahead and grant this duchy to this this guy right here. I have enough gold to go ahead and buy another war camps building. So again, we're going to be doing this everywhere we can. They take pretty long to build as well. I already bought one in our capital, but once those get built, you should see our troops just skyrocket even more than they are right now. Picking up professional workforce will help us because it'll reduce the time it takes to build these war camps buildings, which take a while. And you can see we actually lost a stewardship from something, from like an event or something. So since we have 19 anyway, it's not really important to be on domain focus anymore. And I have some perks here that are pretty valuable. So I think what I'm going to do now is check how long until we have barracks. So 44 years isn't that long. We could probably get that down a good amount if we went to a learning lifestyle focus. But honestly, I think what I'll just do is switch to Majesty and then go down some of these the August tree is pretty good in terms of getting more prestige. So we'll do that for now. It'll bump our prestige up by a pretty healthy amount, as you can see. And again, that'll be important just because we have so much gold. If we had more prestige, we'd be able to buy even more buildings. I think in terms of which son I'm going to want to play as my next character, I'll probably want to play as this character just because his stewardship is okay. If I were to play as my firstborn son, you can see he only has 3 stewardships, so I definitely wouldn't be able to hold 7 of 7 domains. And the more domains I have, like, it's going to have a huge effect. Even one domain is going to have a huge effect on my military and gold income, especially when we're going to have trading outposts, sparring grounds, and hopefully these other 2 buildings as well in each one of my counties. So for that reason, I think I'll have to disinherit this character when we have enough prestige to do that. I'll probably have to do the same for this character, honestly, unless somehow we get a pop-up where you can kill them. Alright, so I went on a feast and went on a hunt, and you can see I bumped my prestige up by a lot. I'm going to go ahead and just disinherit my 2 other sons. I could let the succession go to at least maybe, like, if I just disinherited one, it wouldn't be too hard to fight off the other one as my next character, but it'll just be easier like this for me. It does use a lot of prestige, 600 to be exact, which is kind of like hurts my soul. We should be getting a lot more prestige now that we went down a domain diplomacy focus anyway. Okay, so I just built my last war camps in all my counties. So once this is finished, we'll have 6 war camps. And already, if we take a look at our damage, you can see it's absolutely mental. We're getting from 4 war camps built, which means we get a plus 16% to our damage on our horse archers. But you can see I have my marshal on trained commanders, which I think is honestly the best thing to have your marshal on if you're not increasing control in your territory. If you have high enough control in all your lands, what you should do is just keep them on trained commanders, because what it does, if I hover over here, you can see it increases our knight effectiveness, men-at-arms damage, and toughness by a certain percentage based off their skills. So he has 27 martial ability, meaning he can get up to a 27 increase in these 3 stats, which is so powerful. Like, look at our horse archers. They do a damage right now of 64. And it is still so early in the game. It's before 900, and we have units doing 64 damage with 27 defense. But it also boosts our any other unit, so our pikemen, our bowmen as well. And then if I look at our champions, we're currently getting a 270% increase from all of these perks right here. I think one thing I'm going to do is when we get a tiny bit more prestige is just pick up a regiment of pikemen, because you can see they are good in mountains while our horse archers are bad in mountains. And if we do eventually want to be invading the strongest kingdoms in the game, the strongest feudal and or clan kingdoms in the game, you can see the Byzantians are down here. And if we want to go in there, there are a lot of hills and mountains terrains we're going to have to cross. Okay, so you can see we have a decent amount of prestige. I think what I'm going to do is pick up this last perk once this is finished in just 9 months, and then I'm going to switch over to learning just to try to get my learning ability up a tiny bit, just a tiny bit, in order to increase our research speed, because it still will take 30 years for barracks to finish. And the reason we want barracks is we need barracks in order to upgrade these war camps. And you can see, if you thought tier 1 war camps were good, tier 2 gets us an increase of 125 levies, a whole extra knight, another 10% in terms of knight effectiveness, and it pretty much doubles all of these bonuses down here. So just imagine my cavalry archers when I have 6 domains, giving them all plus 8% damage. I think once we get that, we'll be ready to launch an invasion on the Byzantine Empire. So the next building I'm going to go for in almost all my counties is the longhouses. This one, not as good as the other two, but you can see it actually gives us control per month and then prestige per month, which is important, I'll give you that much. And I guess interchangeably, I might mix in some palisades just because they give me more spearman damage and archer damage and toughness, while also giving you 100 levies and some defender advantage. Although I don't think there's many nations who are going to be attacking us, honestly. One thing that I actually haven't been doing, which is kind of really dumb of me, is raising local raiders and just going on a bunch of raiding adventures. You can see all these nations that are nearby me. Not only are they not raided, they're not very strong either. I don't think anybody would be able to take an army with this many men-at-arms units at this strength. So they can try to attack me all you want, but you can see we're just going to eat them up pretty much.
That's a lot of damage!
The only problem with raiding is you don't want to step a tile away from your borders if you're not along the coast, because you can see you'll take casualties from that, and I don't want to lose too many men. So what I'm going to do is just run around our borders like this, and this will just be very helpful for getting more gold and even more prestige. Like you can see we already are carrying 79 gold, but when we return back with loot like this, if I do that right here, you'll see not only do we gain all the gold, but we also gain it in terms of prestige, which we can use to further keep upgrading our buildings, like buying these gathering halls and stuff like that. I think I'm also going to just raid Bulgaria. You can see they have a lot of land along our border. They are pretty strong.
Hey, that's pretty good.
But I think if I raise my entire army and just go on a little raiding spree down here, we should get a crap ton of gold from this.
Surprise, motherfucker!
Oh, okay, so here you can see they're actually raising all their men to try to stop us. We're gonna have to see what happens. They're gonna run into this army first, which has 500 horse archers, 300 pikemen, and 11 champions. In comparison, they only have 8 champions and a lot less men-at-arms, and we are gonna be fighting in plains. So I assume we would destroy them, even though they have a lot more men than us. There you go, and look at the damage we did. Oh man, absolutely beautiful. I think what I should also be doing in that situation is making myself the commander of the army, because I think I will gain even more prestige from winning those battles. Okay, so here we go. We're in a battle with ourself as the commander. Yeah, so look at that. We got 400 prestige from that battle because we were the commander. That is going to be huge for us already. We can go ahead and just upgrade more of our buildings in our lands. Let's get another gathering hall. And then let's see if we can get in this battle too and stop us from losing. And there you go. It looks like we did as well. And I got another 500 prestige from that. Holy crap. So now we just are waiting on our gold income, honestly. But when I bring these armies back, you should see us get a lot of gold. Boom, right there. We just got enough gold to bring us up to above 200. So now we can build even more buildings, more gathering halls in all of our land. I'm going to pick up the final building in our capital, the Palisades building, which is going to be really nice. And then we have to wait 4 years for all of these other longhouses buildings to finish, and then we can pick up Palisades there. And then once we finish barracks, we can go ahead and start upgrading all of these war buildings to the second tier as well, which is going to be really helpful. Another thing we can actually do is we can upgrade all of our tribal holds to tier 2 tribal holdings. This is another pretty good upgrade. You can see it increases the tax by 0.3 per month, as well as giving another 150 levies to all your land. So it's pretty worth it, even though it does cost 200 base gold and a lot of prestige. But again, we're going to keep raiding all over the place once this war is over. And then that should just give us as much gold as we could ever need in order to do that. You gotta love raiding, you know, you're just getting prisoners, getting non-stop gold.
gold, please.
The Bulgarians are too scared to even try to attack us. Oh, actually, here they come now. I guess I'll run over here onto these hill terrains and we'll kind of see what happens. I think our units, I think our horse archers, they don't get that much of a benefit. Yeah, so the horse archers actually don't lose any damage from fighting in hills. And also we get the defending in hills bonus because we were the first person on this tile and it doesn't have a defensive building. So we should definitely win this battle even against 4,200 Bulgarians. As you can see, we're just having a huge bonus here in all these factors, which is going to lead to a nice victory for us. And it should also lead to a lot of kills against them, but even more prestige for us. That brings our prestige all the way up to over 1,000 again. And we can just now continue to raid the Bulgarian coast, the Bulgarian borders. You absolutely love to see it. And now we can run back and we'll gain 200 gold and 200 prestige from that, which we can right away go into our capital and use to upgrade our tribal hold to tier 2. And actually, I think we will have enough once this building finishes to upgrade this tribal hold to tier 2 as well. So I just finished a bunch of longhouses in all our counties. I actually finished all of them, so now we have longhouses everywhere. And I can continue just to pump gold and prestige into our realm and build palisades everywhere next. We have 15 years till barracks is finished. But I think what I'm going to do now is just go on another nice little raiding adventure. It's just, how can you say tribal is not the best government in CK3? This is just so powerful. It's absolutely mental. Like, look at this. This army is going to have over 200 gold. People are trying to fight me. I'm gaining tons of prestige from fighting in these battles, which I can then go into and just continuously upgrade our men-at-arms units to even stronger units. And I just come back and deliver 186 gold, 186 prestige into my land, which I can then turn around and just keep upgrading my buildings. It's like a never-ending cycle of just complete domination. Ooh, look at this. I'm actually going to pick up the raider trait because I've raided so many lands, and that's going to give me more martial, more prowess, and even more prestige per month. And just like that, I'm full on loot, so I can run back home, deliver another 172 gold and prestige to my realm. Here come the Bulgarians again to try to stop me from raiding their land, but honestly, of course, they're not going to be able to do it. And a victory gets me another 500 prestige. We have 100 gold, 500 prestige. Oh man, this is just so powerful. It's absolutely crazy. He's coming back again. What are you doing?
Are you crazy? Are you out of your mind?
We stack wiped all of Bulgaria's troops. If we look at our buildings, you can see we have one tribal hold to upgrade, but the rest of my counties are all fully built or are building the last building they need to be fully upgraded. Also, what I can do is if I look at my heir, you can see he's pretty old. He's like wounded, not looking amazing right now, but his sons have fully aged. And what I'm going to do is actually disinherit the first one because we do have a lot of prestige and stuff, so it doesn't matter, and disinherit the youngest one as well. Just because I have so much prestige as this character, I might as well use it now before he dies. And then the rest, what I'm going to do is max out that to have 2 full stacks of horse archers, get a full stack of onagers, pick up some more bowmen and some more pikemen, and then we are sitting pretty. Oh, it looks like our heir actually died, but that's honestly okay because now we'll just be playing as our grandson instead. And he's pretty decent, you know, he has pretty decent traits all around. 20 prowess is very good, and he does have 10 stewardship at least. Okay, right here you can see our fortified tribal hold is finished in our last county. So now if we look around, we have fully upgraded tribal holds with all the buildings we could possibly build there. And we only have to wait 4 more years until we can start upgrading these 2 military buildings. I think we might as well just go on one more raiding trip as our king. I was like kind of hesitant to do this just because I'm like, we don't really need the prestige right now to buy anything. But you know, we could always get more men at arms with it, and the gold will help because the prestige doesn't carry over on death, but the gold will. Honestly, oh my god, and here he comes. Boom, 700 prestige for us. So honestly, getting a couple raids off on the Bulgarians again will just help keep our gold income high, so our son, when he takes over, or our grandson I should say, will have a lot of money and won't really have to worry about that in case, like, I don't know, a faction rises up or anything like that happens. So I just picked up another 230 gold from that, and now I can go over here and just fully max out everybody. I have a completely full army now, so I won't even be able to spend all this prestige as this character. But honestly, you know, if we could live 14 more months, we would at least be able to upgrade all our barracks buildings in probably like one in all at once, which would be really, really helpful, to be honest. Oh my god. And literally right when I say that, our character dies. Absolutely classic. I think the first thing we should do as our grandson is go on a raiding adventure just to get his prestige really high, really fast. Although I'm not sure the Bulgarians have much fight left in them. Should we go down learning? How many years? So 2 years to barracks. Not the end of the world if I don't go down learning from that. What I might do is honestly just go full out for military with this guy, because we will be invading the Byzantium Empire very soon. And look at that, they have a bunch of alliances, but I honestly don't think their alliances are going to be able to save them at all. We are just going to run right through them. Let's see if we can catch this army. We should be able to on planes too, to give us, oh my goodness, a lot of prestige as this character, already bumping us to over 600. Oh, it looks like the Bulgarians are going to attack us again. Ooh, this one, we might actually not be okay. I'll try to send some more units in here. Oh, no chance. That is absolutely mental. Even with only less than 2,000 men against over 4,000, we're still able to absolutely destroy them, which bumps me all the way up to distinguished level of fame. And then in just 8 months, I will be able to upgrade almost all my my war camps buildings. There you go, guys. So you can see we just unlocked barracks. So if we go over here, we can now upgrade all of our war camps buildings for the price of 100 gold and 300 prestige. So let's see if we have enough to do all of them at once. It will take 5 years everywhere, but I think we should actually be able to get that down. Okay, so we're able to do 4 of 6 right away. The Bulgarians are going to try to stop me from raiding again, but I think I should be able to join my armies up over here, which will probably give me a very nice victory as well as even more prestige, which is exactly what I needed, honestly, to go over here and upgrade the rest of my war camp buildings. And now we are working on all the war camps. It will take 5 years from now, but what I can do is at least go over here and get a royal architect. And we actually have an excellent one, which is going to be huge because they're going to reduce the building time by 30%. So if we look at these ones we just clicked on, it'll take only 4 years to finish them. There you go, guys. So you can see we just finished our 2 last warrior lodges, which is the tier 2 war camps buildings, and now we have amazing military. Look at our military strength all the way up to over 11,000. We have over 10 gold per month, almost 1,000 gold in the bank right now. 20 completely maniac knights. Like, look how strong some of these knights are in my army right now. 20 knights also operating at 346% effectiveness. Horse archers doing 76 damage. It's just, we are ridiculous right now. Absolutely ridiculous. There's only one thing we can do at this point, and is fully invade with our tribal army. And like we said at the beginning of the video, we have to take care of the most highly developed land in the game, which you can see is Constantinople with 31 development. So we're just going to go ahead, declare war on the Byzantines for the county of Byzantium, which has Constantinople. So we'll declare the war. He actually has almost 10k men, but we all know his army will not stand a chance against us. Alright guys, here we go, moving in our whole army. We actually unlocked another dynastic legacy, so we can pick up tier 2 in terms of the martial or the warfare tree, which is going to help us quite a bit.
ほう、向かってくるのか。逃げずにこのディオに近づいてくるのか。
So look at this, guys. He has 12, he has almost 13,000 men, actually. I guess what he's done was bought some mercenaries and holy orders. Oh, and he actually has 550 cataphracts. Those are some really, really strong units on their own. Look at that, 120 base damage. These things are crazy strong. What a battle this is going to be, actually. So it looks like it's going to happen on this plain land with, which is really good for us because it means our horse archers are going to have more damage. Oh man, and look at this. You can see he does have controlled territory defender advantage because we're fighting on his land, but if we were fighting on this castle right next to us, it would probably be a lot worse considering he would have like defender advantage from these housing pens, defender advantage from these simple hill forts, and defending in hills. So honestly, I think fighting him on the plains tile here is super important. And let's just see how this battle unfolds. Boom, there you go. Taking a look at the damages, we killed over 4,000 men while we only lost 2,000. Yeah, his cataphracts are so strong. I'm not surprised we lost a decent amount of men. But look at the pursuit phase. Our horse archers with their crazy pursuit stat killed 600 men after the battle. You absolutely love to see that. So instead of just going right for Constantinople right away, I think what's going to be more important is to capture a couple pieces of land next to it, just because we need some land where we'll be able to like regen our supplies. And I think what we're going to have to do is, instead of fighting on this tile, which I don't really want to do, we can leave a bunch of soldiers here which can continue to attack, and then I'll move forward with this army, which should be able to get rid of this guy on plains. As you can see, we're going to get a very nice victory here. Just like that. You can see we killed a ton of men over there, like 4,000. And then these guys are still invading, which is good. Okay, he's coming back trying to attack us here, but we should catch him on this plains tile where we fought him the first time. And that will actually make our horse archers have 96 damage, so we shouldn't have too much problems getting rid of him again. Boom, and there you go. So we captured this piece of land, which just gives us some place where we can start regenning our supplies. The reason I'm being a little bit careful here is because I know that to invade Constantinople, you can see you need a garrison of over 4,000 men. So if I were to put my armies in there right now, we might have enough, but the only problem is he would be able to keep attacking us. Because let's say right here, if this army drops below 4,100, which honestly probably will happen considering this guy's going to keep attacking me, we need to be able to relieve this army and pump more men into it. Like if we had our whole army standing on Constantinople, he would just be able to keep attacking us, because it takes honestly 3 years from when we started. So he would be able to regen his full military strength all the way back up to like 12,000, keep attacking us. Like we would just slowly lose strength until we didn't have enough men to even take Constantinople. So by keeping our army split up like this, we're able to have one that will invade, one army that will invade, but you see right here, the army dropped below 4,100. So we stopped invading. So what I can do now, is split off just like a stack of levies, run them in here, and now we will have no problem to keep invading, and this army will slowly still regen its levies. There you go, guys, we did it. So we invaded Constantinople. We didn't hit 100% in the war yet, but now since we have our armies grouped up, we can just walk around, completely stack wipe them, and just continue to invade land, and it should take us all the way to 100% very soon. There you go, guys, so we have done it. If I enforce our demands, you can see the barbarians now control Constantinople. You can see how freaking crazy it is to play as a tribal realm early in the game. Even there, it showed that these guys had super strong units, and a lot of them, but they were still no match to my horse archers. Our total troops will replenish to almost 14,000 men. We have over 1,000 gold in the bank, making 12.1 gold per month. Tribal is just absolutely insane. I hope you guys really enjoyed this episode. I'll be seeing you in the next one. Peace out.